Assalamualaikum. I'm Juliani Johari, and many people know me as JJ. Welcome to my series JJ Table Talks. What do I have to say? It's been some time since I had this conversation with so many. This coming weekend, my country Malaysia will be celebrating its Independence Day, the date 31st August. More than 6 decades ago, when I was just a little child, probably more about 3 years old or so, something like that, I remembered my parents brought me to the grandstand in a big garden. And I asked my father, "Kenapa bising? Father, why noisy? Kenapa ramai? Why so many people?" My father just responded, "Shh, just look at the flags." And I just looked at the flags and I saw one flag coming down and the other flag going up. And suddenly, a loud voice shouted, "Merdeka!" And there were shouts of many, "Merdeka, Merdeka, Merdeka." That was my childhood memory of how this country achieved its independence. As I think about it, what comes to my mind right now, I can recall 3 important values associated with this event. And my top value is respect. What is value? To me, it's something that's fundamental, a belief, a principle, or what we think is good, right, fair, and just. Why choose respect? To me, this word or this value is a moral recognition. It is an acknowledgement of what attitude and conduct is about sincerity in thoughts and actions. It's about being consistent in behavior. It's about showing good example in behavior with others. Receiving respect from others is important because it helps to make us feel safe and the ability to express ourselves freely. Okay, so why is respect so important? It's because to me, when you talk about respect, it's something like we accept someone who's different from us, even though we may not be agreeable with him or her, but it is a relationship which builds feelings of trust, safety, and well-being. My second value is gratitude. Alhamdulillah. I think we are so fortunate to be able to live another day. Like we go to sleep one night and the next day we can still wake up and we are still alive. Yet when we look at the social media all around us, we hear of poverty, hungers, death, war, and so much of human tragedies. We are lucky that we are still breathing, that there's still food on the table, and we have our loved ones with us alive. Shukr. We have to be grateful that there are people who sacrifice their lives to be our forefathers. We are grateful, actually I'm grateful to realize that we are blessed that in this country, when we achieved our independence, there was no blood war, there was no forced retaliation. What is my next or my third value regarding this? As mentioned, I have 3 top values. My third value is endurance. Growing up in this beautiful country, and for many of us who have lived since 1957, we all have endured and experienced so much in life. For example, the colonial days, when we were talking about sir, ma'am, and there were so many matsalehs in most government offices throughout the country. I enjoyed this session because I was lucky to be able to experience this. And then we had the Japanese occupation. I can't remember, I can't talk about it, but my parents lived through that ordeal, and it's something they say they don't want to remember. Then we had the emergency period, another period which I can't recall much. But the next one, the May 13th horror, I recall that because I was in primary school, and my school was the Bukit Bintang Primary School, and we were at the heart of all that happened that particular day. I didn't know much because I remembered our whisked home to the and we didn't ask many questions, so we just to be quiet and stay at home. And everything was like that for some time until there was kind of peace again in the country or in the city, Kuala Lumpur. Then we had the confrontasi with Indonesia, another ordeal that we had to go through. Then came the pandemic. Most of us today recall the pandemic of COVID-19, but for most of us since 1957, we recall the threat of polio because there was no vaccine. Then we had the foot and mouth disease scare. We had the cholera pandemic, the tuberculosis pandemic, and the great floods. And finally, recently, 2-3 years back, we had the COVID-19. Of course, being in this country, we were not devoid of a lot of social and political changes. Now, as we, as citizens of this country, remain steadfast, people will say, why history? To me, history is important because it's the past that molds the present, and it's the present that transforms the future for a better tomorrow. Yes, for the future generations. And I tell you, I'm looking forward, my family is looking forward, a lot of my friends are looking forward towards this coming weekend when we celebrate our 68th independence. The children are happy because it means holiday and a lot of celebrative events. Now let's pause a while. I have shared with you my top 3 values regarding independence. If you're watching it alone, what's yours? And if you're watching with someone, discuss and share your thoughts. Salam MERDEKA. Yes, thank you for listening. If you like it, we'll have more sessions like this. What do I have to say? Thank you from JJ. Bye.